Good morning, sir.
All right. I hope everyone are able to see my screen, right?
Yes.
Great. All right then. So let us kick start. Good morning. I hope everyone, has created that account. I believe yesterday I have sent that video link how to create that account. Everybody having accounts,
Yeah.
guys.
Yes.
Everybody. And did you configure the MFA account? Multi-factor authentication?
Not yet.
Not it.
No.
Okay. Fine. So you have to configure multi-factor authentication as well. I will guide you how to do that. And everyone having that Google Drive access, I believe. Right?
Yeah, Karthik, it will helpful when we go for offline also. It's unable to download it.
I have given the access. You can download. I have given yesterday. Now try. You can able to download the video.
Yeah, I will check and let you know.
You can. You can. You guys right away. If anybody having that Drive access, please go and download the video. You can able to download. I have given that access as well. Fine. See, you need to activate MFA account as well. Go to take your mobile. Go to Play Store. It's very simple. Go to Play Store in your mobile and download Google Authenticator. So in real time, any cloud computing, if you want to log in MFA, it is mandatory. MFA or mobile pass security key. Yes. Google Authenticator. Yes. Now you need to install Google Authenticator in your mobile. Once if you download it, then go back to your console. Okay, and go to here. My security credential will be there. After installed, Google Authenticator, go back to your console. Here, my security credential. Okay, so it will take you into this multi-factor authentication dashboard. So here you can see we do have the option which it is multi-factor authentication, right? So assign MFA, continue with the virtual MFA device, continue with the virtual MFA device, right? Then you can scan your barcode. So once if you scan, then it will provide 2 OTP. You can enter assign. Got it? Make sense, guys? Okay, so make sure once logged in, beyond. Okay, have you done it? Guys, please go for mute here. Thank you. Okay, so this is the way you need to configure MFA after created the account. Got it? Okay, fine. So today let us try to understand your, cloud seller methodology. So yesterday we have created the Excel sheet. Okay, so from today onwards, let us follow this Google sheet. Okay, fine. So today let us try to understand the cloud seller. I mean the AWS methodology. When you are trying to deploy any application, we need to follow the methodology. First, I need to choose your region and your availability zone and availability, set, right? Edge locations. All right, and your platforms, your platform, and your virtualization pattern. All right, and your SLA. So then your types of cloud and start to build your infra before, okay, pricing dashboard. And start to build your infra. So this is what, our methodology. When you're trying to build the data center, it is mandatory. You have to, follow this methodology. So let us take it as an example here. We are having the organization. First, let me explain the, concept of how are we going to build the data center. Then we'll come back and, practically let us kickstart. We have the organization, which it is IBM. They are having approximately 500 users. So the 500 users, they are going to access the data center, which is going to be part of any region. So first, let us choose the region. What would be the nearby region or any region? It's up to us. You don't need to prefer your nearby region. It's up to us. You can choose any region. Okay. So totally we are having 21 regions. Okay, totally we are having 21 regions. So I can choose any region. So IBM, they have decided want to build data center at Singapore. All right. So we are going to build the data center at Singapore region. That is what we have decided. Okay. So the Singapore, it is our region. Under the Singapore, we are having multiple availability zone. So when I say zone is nothing but data center. So I do have many availability zones. You can see here. So zone 1 and zone 2 and zone 3. So under the availability zones, we are having multiple zones. I can choose Singapore. Under the Singapore, I do have multiple availability zones. All right. So these are our zone and it is your region. So the AWS initially they have introduced a data center at Ohio. That is a mother region. Initially in 2002, they have introduced a data center at Ohio. Then after some time they have expanded. In Mumbai, in India, we do have one region which it is at Mumbai. They have introduced in 2014. 2014 they have introduced in the market. Okay, so at this point in time, we have selected the Singapore region. Under the Singapore region, you can see that multiple, okay, so let me open that architecture. So under the Singapore region, you may have multiple, availability zones. These are our availability zones, right? So I can choose Singapore region. Under the Singapore region, I do have minimum 3 availability zone, right? In each zone, they are having minimum 80,000 machines. In each zone, they're having minimum 80,000 machines. Getting the point? Max is 7 availability zone, which it is at Virginia. In Virginia, we do have 7 availability zone. So, but minimum, all the zones, they do have 3. All right. So when you are deploying the server, right? So they want to deploy the server. I mean, 300 servers they want to deploy. So 300 server, they could able to deploy top of one zone. Am I right? Right. So these all are the zones. Top of this zone. On top of one zone itself, I could able to deploy 300 server. Due to disaster, the zone 1 it is down. What about your server? Server also will be downstate. Am I right? So when you are trying to build the data center to be ensure it should be horizontal. When you are trying to build the data center, it should be horizontal. I mean, the 300 server divided into multiple zones. Here you can deploy 100 server, and here you can deploy 100 server, and here also you can deploy 100 server. So this zone, if it is down also, at least we could able to manage, high availability using all right. Makes sense. So when you are deploying that server, to be ensured it should be horizontal. I mean, the 300 server distribute to multiple zone. Any zone, if it is down also, that doesn't matter. We could able to maintain the high availability. See, high availability and the business continuity is, it is, biggest task, I would say. When you are deploying during the running time, I want to deploy versions 3. My Flipkart version 1, it is running. We want the developer, they have done the changes. So they have built it. Now we are having version 2. I want to deploy version 2. When I'm deploying the version 2, you have to remove version 1, right? Then we can deploy. During the time, we may face the downtime. So when you are facing the downtime, we may lose the business. How can we achieve the business continuity? That is the agenda. That's the reason we are preferring to go with the cloud. We don't have downtime. Getting my point? So from the scratch, when you are trying to build, make sure you have to, deploy horizontally, right? See, all the data center housed separately, but physically it is having interconnection. All the data center physically they are having, interconnection. Here, if you have server, here also, if you do have the server, from here to here, you can able to jump from this server to this server. If you want to jump, yes, it is possible, you can. And from here to here also, you can house it separately, but physically we do have interconnection. Got it? Fine.
Karthik, Rupin here.
Yes.
Sorry, quick question. So when you say they're physically connected, that means when we segregate or try to divide the servers horizontally in different zones, we can do it only under a single data center, right? For suppose you said Virgin has 7 and Ohio was the first one. We cannot have 100 servers in Virginia zone and 100 servers in Singapore, right? We cannot do that.
No, you can able to do that, but anyhow, we are going for different region, right? That is also possible. So when you are preferring different region, you can prefer for DR platform. So
Okay.
Singapore, you can consider primary. Ohio, you can consider secondary. Singapore entire region, if it is down, this region will bring up. I'm talking about within the region. Any zone, if it is down, other zone
Okay.
has to bring up.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you. Yeah.
Right. So that is for DR. At this point, we are not discussing DR. All right, Rupin? Okay.
Yeah,
So
thanks,
yeah. So now you can come back to this picture. When I'm trying to deploy the server, as I stated, you have to distribute equally to the multiple zone. Okay. The 500 users, they are sitting at Bangalore. Let you consider they are sitting at Bangalore, right? So all these users, if they want to connect with the Singapore region, it is possible. Cloud you can access at any time, anywhere. Yeah, it is global access. You can able to access. But what about your latency? Let you consider. Here we have the Google server. I'm trying to ping the Google server at this point in time. Right. So when I'm trying to ping the Google server, it is responding. My latency time is 11 milliseconds. And what is meant by TTL? Time to live. Time to live means number of device. From my laptop to reach a Google server, it cost 116 device. Getting my point? 116 device it crossed, and the duration which it is 11 milliseconds. So we do have Google server at Bangalore itself. So we are doing domestic communication at this point. But you can come back to this architecture. It is international communication. Obviously, it is international communication. In real time, the millisecond, when you go for latency, it should be max is 10 millisecond. If it is 10, the network team, they used to consider it is critical. They have to maintain less than 5, 4. If I'm getting more than 10 in the sense, page will get scrolled down. Let you consider if your Paytm application, they do have subscriber across the world, but they have data center at US itself. Across the world, how many subscribers they keep on hitting the server definitely goes down, and we may face the latency issue. How can we avoid the latency issue? If you're facing latency issue, then cloud concept is useless. My application I have hosted, when I keep on trying the application, we are facing the latency issue. So then could be considered as useless. Correct. In this case, the cloud seller, they have created one more data center, which it is called edge location. Zone is different, edge location is different. In zone, you can deploy your raw data. In edge location, you can deploy your metadata. I'll tell you. See here, you understand the zone, right? Minimum, how many machines are there? 80,000 minimum. Okay. In edge location, max is 10,000. Across the world, totally we are having 21 region. So they are going to extend 3 more region. So you can consider 24. And how many zones they are having? 70 plus zones are available. Okay, 70 zones. And edge location, which it is 54 edge location across the world. Zone is different, edge location is different. Okay, under the region we may have multiple zone. That topology is different, edge location is different. Got it? Fine. See now, the Paytm application I just deployed top of this server. My entire raw data I have deployed here. My raw data size is around 8 GB, right? Around 8 GB we do have the raw data. So number of users, they keep on hitting your server. I'm facing the latency issue. How can we avoid the latency issue? Using by edge location. In cloud, we do have the components which it is called CloudFront. Okay, we do have the CloudFront. Okay, so practically everything we are going to do, but we need to understand. Okay, the architecture we need to understand. So CloudFront, the CloudFront components, it does the protocol which it is called CDN, Content Delivery Network. You might heard about Akamai. That is for on-prem we are using Akamai CDN architecture. Most of the media sector, Akamai, right? Most of the media sector are who is having more subscriber, they used to go for CDN. Okay, let us try to understand what is meant by CDN. See, the CDN protocol, it is going to fetch metadata from your raw data. Metadata is nothing but data about data. Data about data, your index page. I do have 8 GB, your metadata would be KB, right? So the CDN will fetch metadata from your raw data. This metadata, the CloudFront will distribute to across all the edge location. Totally how many edge location? 54. In India itself, we do have 2 edge location. One which it is at Chennai. Chennai, they do have primary edge location. Bangalore, they do have secondary edge location. Getting my point? So I am sitting at India. When I pushed metadata to across all the edge location, after the edge location is going to provide DNS. For each metadata, it will provide unique DNS. So this DNS we can share to end user. So once if we have shared the DNS to end user, whoever want to ping our raw data using by this DNS, their communication will be routed into nearby edge location. Getting my point? Previously, we were trying to communicating with Singapore, but now I'm going to connecting with my nearby edge location. We are sitting at Bangalore. Where is your nearby edge location? Bangalore itself. Then from the Bangalore to Singapore, that is cloud seller responsibility. They are having the physical connection. They are having the direct connect. But in front of us, they are providing the components which it is called edge location. Using by this edge location, we could able to avoid the latency issue. So in terms of connecting with the direct region, your communication will be routed into nearby edge location after pushed your metadata to the edge location. Getting my point? So my communication will be Bangalore itself. So I'm not going to face any latency issue. And you can customize the TTL value also. More than 5 seconds should not cross. You can customize. But based on the traffic, they are going to charge. How they are charging in the sense, how many people they keep on hitting via edge location. For each hit, you have to pay 0.075 paise. It's not a big cost. It's very cheap. For each hit, you have to pay via edge location. How many subscribers they're hitting, you just pay for the each hit. But here, how many server, if it is running, you have to pay for running still. Make sense? Right? So when you are deploying the data center, sorry, building the data center, make sure edge location it is mandatory to avoid the latency. You can see the edge location here, edge location in AWS, you can see that. So we do have multiple edge locations. See, now I'm sitting at Bangalore. If you have built the data center at Singapore. If I'm sitting at Bangalore, my communication will be routed into Bangalore edge location. If you're sitting at Ohio, I mean US, your communication will be routed into nearby. If you're sitting at South Africa, communication will be routed into nearby. Then the edge location is fetching. That is their responsibility. You don't need to worry about that. It's a cache memory, metadata. For each raw data, you need to create metadata. Who is going to create in this? CDN protocol is going to create. But for each metadata, edge location is going to provide the DNS for each metadata. Till 24 days, if you are accessing the metadata, your metadata will be present at the edge location. Within 24 days, if you're not using the metadata, automatically will get banished from the edge location. Make sense? We are not how much size does it is going to consume at your edge location, you're not going to pay. How much hit are you going to do? You just pay. Got it? Make sense? Any questions, guys?
So, Karthik, one question here.
Yes.
So, on top of DNS only, CDN will come, right?
No,
It's like-
under the component itself, we do have the CDN. See, the AWS, they are having in-house component, which it is called CloudFront. In Azure, we don't have, they don't have CDN protocol. They are hiring, they are getting support from Akamai in Azure. So here, what I'm trying to say, CDN is the protocol under the CloudFront.
Okay, since we also use Akamai over here, which is like DNS in both
Yes.
Google and AWS, I have worked on. So we
Great.
create DNS and backend top of the DNS URL, we use Akamai so that it will be more secured in phases of the subdomain value routing.
Yes, you see, by default, you have, see, when you are pushing, you are working at with Akamai, right? So when you are pushing metadata to that Akamai edge location, the Akamai, they will provide one DNS, right?
Yeah.
So in that DNS, you have to impose your SSL certificate, am I right?
Yes.
So of course, your end-to-end, application will be protected because you have
Yeah.
uploaded SSL via.
Mhm.
So, but
Yeah.
that's right. When you go for CloudFront, you don't need to impose any SSL certificate. That is a major difference. When you are going for Akamai, you have to manually buy the certificate and impose. When you are going with the in-house component, you don't need to buy. By default, they are having the SSL certificate. So you are going to consume their own SSL certificate. Make sense?
Okay. Do CloudFront gives us any other facility like
In AWS, we do have only CloudFront.
okay, can a redeployment can be happen over there?
Yes. Practically, we are going to do that.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. So I'm just explaining the architecture. So some freshers also will be here. So I need to explain from the scratch for them as well. Okay,
Yeah,
so
got it. But
like
I
that.
haven't used CloudFront in any project, so I thought of.
I will show you. Let me demonstrate that. All right, got it. Okay, so any questions with this architecture? No. Okay. So that is what here I just represented over here. You just look into that. When you are trying to deploy the data center, make sure region and availability. So, right. So data center, cloud is nothing but, data center or multiple data center made up of compute. When I say compute is nothing but your server, right? So storage, connected resources connected by the network and infrastructure. This part already we have discussed. When I say elastic computing is nothing but whenever if I wanted to upgrade or downgrade of your hardware, right now I do have for the production 16 GB RAM and 500 GB and i7 core which it is running, but it is that specification is not suitable for the production. The stakeholder they are asking us to go for downgrade. They are asking us to configure 4 GB. I can do that. That is we can call it as elastic computing. Based on your requirement, you can expand and downgrade also. Storage in the cloud, 6 level of storage we are going to understand. Security, yes, 3 types of encryption file we do have. What are the encryption file? We'll understand a bit later. And each components we do have a calculator. How to operate the AWS calculator, I will guide you. Okay, so we can call it as bomb sheet, billing of month. Okay, for each component we need to prepare bomb sheet. Let's try to understand those part. So now we are understanding region and availability zone. So I stated cloud infrastructure is built around a region and availability zone. Region is a physical location in the world where we have multiple availability zones. See, availability zones consist of one or more discrete data center, each with a redundant power. Frequently you can communicate, networking and connectivity, but housed is separate facility. That is what I stated. All the zone housed is separately, but physically they do have interconnection. So these availability zones offer you the ability to operate production application or database, which are highly available, fault tolerant with a scalable and unscalable that would be possible from a single data center. Yes, that is what we have discussed. So for in one data center itself, you can get number of machine, right? That is a possible. So within the region, how can we achieve the high availability? I stated you have to deploy the server into the multiple zone. Am I right? Yes or no? So how to achieve the high availability within the region? I would say that I need to deploy the server into multiple zone. Correct? Okay. Within the zone itself, how can we achieve the high availability? We did not discuss. Within the region, we have discussed how can we achieve the high availability. Any question? No. Within the region means how can we achieve the high availability? Any zone, if it is down, other zone, could able to sustain the load. Correct? Within the zone itself, how can we achieve the high availability? Let you consider. See, in your data center, might be how many people has seen data center, I'm not sure. We do have 3 racks. Let you consider, these are the racks. If you go with the 45U or 60U racks will be there. Okay. So 3 racks, okay, or each of 3 racks, we do have one power card switch. Instead of zone I'm talking about, okay, one power card switch will be there, and one more which it is, network card switch. Okay, so power card switch and network card switch will be there. When I'm deploying the server, I want to deploy 3 server. So this is server 1, it is server 1, and it is server 2, and one more which it is server 3, right? One more which it is last one which it is server 3. So in one rack itself, maximum, if I go with the 45U, AWS they're using 45U, GCP they're using 60U. Okay, those are the racks we can call it as, each 4 multiple holes will be there. You practically have to see, then only you can understand. So if you go for 45U, maximum you can able to patch 8 hardware. Okay. So in this case, top of one hardware, you can able to create multiple virtual machine. It depends on your hardware optimization. Okay. So the 3 server, I could able to, deploy on top of the same rack. In the same rack itself, I could able to deploy. So why we need 3 server in the sense, one server, if it is down, other server will sustain the load. How to achieve the high availability within the region already we have discussed. Now within the zone itself, we are trying to understand. Getting my point? So in this case, one server, if it is down, other 2 server will be up and running. So I could able to achieve the high availability. Am I right? This entire server, if it is down, sorry, entire rack, if it is down, 3 server will be downstate. Correct? So what can we do? We can distribute into different rack. So here the server 2, I want to deploy it in rack 2, and server 3, I want to deploy it in rack 3. So all these power cards which it is connected with 3 racks. So each of 3 racks, we have one power card switch and one network card switch. So using by this concept, we could able to achieve the high availability, right? The rack one, if it is down, other racks which it is having different server could able to run. So this power card switch, if it is down, 3 racks will be down state. Am I right or wrong? 3 racks will be down state. Correct? This concept is called availability set. Availability set. Availability zone is different, availability set is different. When you go for availability set, we do have the formula. So these are in real time, it's very important. When you are presenting or when you are building the architecture, stakeholder may ask you the question, how are we going to achieve the high availability in AWS or in Azure? How can we do that? I should explain. The security team or being as a cloud architect has to explain the each and every components where we are going to place of your server. That's very important. Getting my point? So in this case, we are going to apply the formula using by availability set. The formula is nothing but fault domain, we can call it as, and another one which it is nothing but updated domain. Fault domain and updated domain. Let you consider what is your patching release from the Red Hat? What is the day? On which day the Red Hat are they going to release the patches? Any idea? Windows, when they are releasing the patches?
Tuesday.
Every month of second Tuesday. Every month of second Tuesday, Red Hat and Microsoft, they are releasing the patches. You can see most of the patching update will get happen third week Saturday or third week Sunday. You can see that. Okay, probably in real time you can see. Okay. So AWS, they are doing the patch update every week of Saturday. Every week of Saturday. Microsoft Azure, they are doing patching update on every week of Tuesday. Okay, in the late night. You can go through the official docs. You can get some idea. Let you consider when they are doing the patching update, my all server will get reboot because they are pushing the patches via some configuration management tool, Ansible, Puppet, Chef, multiple tools we do have. So they used to update the patches. They used to impose the patches over the Ansible. Ansible, what does it is going to do? It's going to updating the patches to all the servers simultaneously. So I do have 3 servers simultaneously. If it is getting patching update in the sense, all the server will get reboot. So if it is getting reboot in the sense, it might take 30 minutes or 40 minutes. Let you consider. I do have high level of application. So 40 minutes, 30 minutes server will be in down state. Getting my point? We should not allow them to do patching update to simultaneously for all the server. We should deny them to allow the patching for one by one. Getting my point? How can we do that? Once again, I have to go with the faulty domain and updated domain. Right? See, how can we define in the sense? Let you consider this is the 3 racks which it is connected with the one power card switch, right? We can call it as FD0. 3 racks which is connected with one power card and one network card switch, right? We can call it as FD0. And same, I can go and being as a stakeholder. Okay, Infosys, how many racks they can able to consume in the sense? 3. FD0, FD1, FD2. More than FD2 you can't. So I can able to consume the same setup like 3. Am I right or wrong? The same setup. I can consume 1 and right 2 and one more which it is nothing but 3. So like this setup you can do. Am I right? That is what FD01, FD02, FD03. Right? That is fault domain. You can see fault domain and updated domain formula. Fault domain and updated domain. You can see that. So clearly they stated availability set, it has fault and updated. So maximum, see here, 3 racks, it is connected with one power card and one network card switch. Right? So when they are doing patching update, you can see fault domain max is 3. So you can see that FD0, FD1, FD2. More than FD2 you can't. Once again, they are doing rollback. Within the zone I'm talking. Getting my point? So I can write it on the formula. While deploying the server, I can write it down. I do have 5 virtual machine. You can see, let me take it as, this example. I do have 5 virtual machine, which it is running a different rack and which it is connected with the unique power card switch. Am I right? FD0, how many racks do we have? How many racks do we have in FD0? 3. How many network and power card switch? 1. FD1? FD1? Same. FD2?
Same.
Great. When I'm deploying the virtual machine 1, it's going to be deployed FD01. When the clouds are doing the patching of it, right? The first server only it's going to get update. Rest of 4 server, it will not get update. So the first 1 line only it is going to get patching update. First VM will get update. Rest of VM will not get update. Then once if it is rebooted, after it's up and running, second server, which it is residing in different rack, FD1, that server will get update. So simultaneously, you can able to update 20 virtual machine. Simultaneously in the sense 1 by 1, I mean. So when you are passing the parameter, you can able to give the value of 20. So 20 means 20 times is going to get update, right? First server will get update until 19 server will be up and running. Second server will get update. First and the rest of server will be running. Third server will get update. So 1 by 1, we need to allow them to do patching update. Simultaneously, if we are allowing the patching update, then we may face the downtime. So how can we achieve the high availability within the zone using by availability set? Make sense? How can we achieve the high availability within the region using the availability zone? Availability zone is nothing but within the region, we do have multiple availability zone. Availability set within the zone, we do have multiple FD0, FD1, FD2. Make sense? It is quite important scenario. So what's the major difference between availability set and availability zone? When I'm trying to log in into Azure, I will show you. When I'm trying to, oh, okay, so I think so. I forgot the password. Let's see. Yeah, that's what. Let me try to log in into. I can show you in Azure. We do have the option. I'm sorry, my account got suspended in Azure. In Azure, we could able to see that.
Karthik, one question.
It's suspended. Yeah, go ahead.
How are we able to create these virtual machines? Like you're saying now, if it is 1, 2, this. I didn't understand that concept. How are we able to create this?
Okay, in Azure, that's what I'm trying to log into this Azure. In Azure, manually we need to set up. Manually, we have to define the value for faulted domain and updated domain. But in AWS, by default, they have integrated this. When I'm deploying that for EC2 instance, right, it's going to be part of first FD0.
Okay.
That second virtual machine, when I'm trying to deploy, it's going to be part of then third. Then it will do rollback. Fourth virtual machine will come back to once again the same rack. That is restricted. See, number of.
And how many times it will?
You can do. You can see how much number of server. It's up to us. You can create 1,000 server also, not an issue. But you can able to consume only these three. Three is FD in the sense how many rack will be there? 3 FD in the sense how many rack? 9 racks, right? So 9 rack would be fine. Getting my points.
Why can't we create like FD3, FD0, 1, 2, FD3?
So that is a cloud seller. They have restricted. They do have n number of stack order, right? So by default, they have restricted this.
all the cloud sellers are keeping it.
All
same,
seeing, you
like
can see Azure also.
Google, Amazon. Okay.
See? Got it?
Okay. Okay.
All right. So I hope you understood what is meant by region and availability zone and availability set, correct? And even edge locations you understand. Update means when I'm doing the patching update. So we should allow them to do patching update for one by one, right? We should not allow them to do simultaneously. So that is updated. Any questions with this part? Edge location, how many? 54. Availability zone, 70 plus across the world. Region, 21. So totally we do have 21 regions, right? Any questions within this part?
Karthik, are you able to
Yes.
hear me?
Yes, Krishna.
Karthik, can you go to that flow chart now? What you have created? Can you go to that
Sorry?
flow chart? From flow chart you have created.
Yeah, here.
Yeah, actually, fine. Slightly down. Slightly down.
This one?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, you had said one setup, right? That one power card, one network card, and actually it like 3 racks will be there, and in
Yes.
that each rack we can have n number of servers. That is like infinity number of servers we can have.
The
As you
n
said,
number of
right?
server in the sense depends on your U. That is what I stated. AWS they're using 45 U. So
Okay.
within this max, you can able to create, I believe, by 8, 16, 24. 24 max is 36 will be there. Okay. So if you
Actually,
need,
Karthik, I'm unable to understood like 42 U. You said no. What is mean by that 42 U? I'm unable
no
to
RAM.
understand.
Okay, so that is nothing but see these are the. I will show you here, but practically you have to see these are the 40 U racks. 4
40 okay.
Yeah, here holes will be there. Okay, 4 holes is equal to 1 hardware.
Okay.
So like that 45 I mean 45 in the sense you can divide 45 divided by 4. How many server can be?
Around 10.
Around 10.
10. Yeah.
Yeah, so 10 racks you can able to do that.
Okay.
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 So
Karthik.
60.
You can go to the flow chart.
Yeah, okay. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, you said no. Karthik. Actually, the formula is like fault domain. It's like an update domain. And
Yes.
yeah. Okay. Fine. Actually, it's like fault domain. What is mean by the fault domain? What is mean by the update domain?
That's what I stated. Fault domain is nothing but see here. Each 3 racks, it has 1 power card and 1 network card switch. Okay. When you are deploying the server, your scale size, which it is 3, you have deployed in 1 rack itself. But the rack, if it is down, 3 server will be down, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Then
let us
downtime
go.
may come. Downtime may come. Production might
Downtime will
come.
be there. We can't predict. We cannot
Okay.
able to predict, right? So you can say orally there is no downtime, but practically it is impossible, right?
Okay.
So here you can see that all these 3 racks, it is connected with the 1 power card switch. Now power card switch, if it is down, enter 3 racks will be down straight, right?
Yes.
That's the reason Cloud Seller, they are giving the naming conversion, which it is FD0. When I choose FD0 means 3 racks will be there. 3 racks will be there connected with 1 power card and network card switch.
Okay.
So being as a stakeholder, I mean client, if you are a prime customer or gold customer or whoever, they can able to consume max 3, FD0, FD1 and FD2. Okay. So you are having 10 server within 3 FD0, 1, 2. Okay. Now Cloud Seller, they are doing patching update.
Yeah, fine.
So simultaneously 10 server, we should not allow them to
Yes,
do the
one by
patching.
one. So to avoid the production to go down.
In this case, I can use updated domain.
Updated domain. Okay.
Updated domain in the sense first rack, first server has to get updated. In first server, I have 3 servers in first rack.
Yeah.
first rack itself, we do have 3 server. So I don't want to allow them to do patching update for 3 server. I want to allow them to do only one. That is what in this table column you can see. First server one, it is getting update.
Okay.
But you can see FD0, I have one more server, VM4 and VM1.
Okay.
But first time I'm allowing them to do patching update for VM1.
Okay.
We are not allowing them to do patching update for VM4. Make sense?
Yeah. I'm able to understand. Yeah.
That's a, you know, that naming convention we can call it as updated protocol.
Okay. Fine. Fine, Karthik.
Great. So others, do you have any questions? Anybody? Lakshmi?
Can you go up to the flowchart? Can you go?
Okay.
Yeah, Karthik. Actually, here you used some terms, right? Like that, some CDN. So that DNS. Actually, I have not worked in all those things. Actually. So I am unable to clearly understood like what is that CDN and what is that DNS and how it works practically. What is its significance? Like what we are using all those things that I'm unable.
See, okay, okay, understood. Let me give it a live example here. See, we do have the media sector. Okay.
Media server. Okay.
Okay, media sector. Let us take it as an example of media sector. I'm capturing some video, live video in Singapore, but I do have more subscriber in India. When I'm capturing the live stream data, how fast does it is, pushing into India location using by CDN?
Okay.
See here, I'm having the live video. Okay. Okay. So media sector, they're capturing some live video. Those live video data, we need to, publish into this India. Okay. Here we do have more subscriber. How frequently are we able to pushing the data? Videos, kind of huge size. Frequently you can't. You need to copy and move something, you can do that. But how frequently we can able to see the video? In this picture, CDN will be there. So CDN will keep on creating metadata and pushing into this nearby edge location. So your raw data it is presenting, your raw data which it is presenting at nearby edge locations, right?
Okay.
Got it, Krishna?
Yeah.
Okay, so
So
practically
actually
let me
you are
demonstrate.
okay.
Got it?
Yeah, got it. Actually, you are trying to tell like that CDN is like something. It is a component used to push the data in a faster rate or like without
What
any
is-
delay or something.
Yeah. See, why we are using HTTP, HTTPS? HTTP allowing the traffic of public, right? HTTPS allowing the traffic of public with the secure. CDN is going to creating the metadata. These are the protocol. It has set of algorithm.
Okay.
So this algorithm is going to fetching the data, metadata from your raw data, that's all. And pushing into different data center. Your nearby data center. So when you're fetching the raw data, you can, access via your nearby location.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
Great.
Karthik, sorry,
Yes.
Karthik, one question. So you said patching happens for Unix and Windows servers, correct? So every month. So when they are doing something on our servers, so what Amazon will communicate to us telling that this servers will be done because of the patching? How it happens background?
No, see, cloud seller, they are going to do patching update for hardware, not for your application.
Okay, got it.
Okay, I'm talking about only hardware platform. If you are allowing them to do patching update for application, then what is the use case?
Correct.
Right? It's a security violation.
Yes, correct. I got clear. Yes, thanks.
Others, do you have any questions? Great. Fine. So next, what we need to understand in the science, let us try to understand platform and virtualization pattern. Platform, I think so. We understood already. IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. Okay. Once again, let me open that presentation. See, I have given all the description. You just look into that. This presentation already it is available in Google Drive, and 2 participants still they don't have access. So today, let me provide the access after this session itself. Sorry for yesterday, I held up with the office work. Due to that, it was taking time to give the access. Okay, so today with that, I'll do as soon as. All right, so we are understanding the service model, which mean platform. This part we have discussed already, right? When you go for IAS 5 ownership, we do have. When you go for PaaS, single ownership SaaS, we don't have ownership. Right? This part already we have understood. All right. So then we need to understand virtualization pattern. Yes, AWS they are using what type of virtualization? So the virtualization it has 2 category. One which it is bare metal, another one non-bare metal. So this part let us try to understand on tomorrow. Okay, so until we have done tomorrow, let us complete all this rest of theoretical. Hardly it may take 20 minutes. So once done, tomorrow we are going to kickstart labs. So I would suggest tomorrow, from tomorrow onwards, we need this console. Okay, everybody to be ensured should have account with AWS. Got it? So in Singapore, we have 3 zones. All right. So do you have any questions? No, if you have any questions, you can pull me over the WhatsApp. You can reach out to me late in the evening because my shift timing will be 11. Okay, 11 to till 9:30. Depends. Okay, but you can reach out to me if you want to reach out to me after 8 or after 7:30. You can reach out to me. I'll be available. So I can help you out. All right then. Thank you all. Bye bye. Have a nice day.
Thanks, Karthik.
Thank you, Karthik.